Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a chapter that, honestly, kicked off a journey that literally changed the world. We're going to break down the huge promises, the unexpected dangers, and the really human story of Genesis chapter 12.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. I mean, look at this. This one single page is just packed with action. You've got a call from God, a huge leap of faith, a terrible famine, a crazy high-stakes lie in a royal palace, and then a dramatic get-out-of-town moment. It's so much stuff crammed into just a few verses. It's wild.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want you to think about this for a second. Seriously, what would it take for you to just up and leave everything, your home, your family, your whole country, with no map, no idea where you're really going? Because that's exactly the situation our main character, Abram, finds himself in.
All right, so the story kicks off with what might be one of the most famous calls to action in all of history. It's a command from God to a man named Abram, and it comes with a promise that is just mind-boggling.
I mean, the scale of this promise is just wow. It's not just about getting rich or having a better life. We're talking about a promise that affects generations, the entire world, and the whole course of history. Abram is being told he'll be the father of a great nation, and that through him, everyone on earth will be blessed. But of course, an offer this big comes with a pretty huge price tag. And here's what's so crucial to understand. He's being asked to cut ties with everything that made him feel safe back then. His country, that was his identity. His family, that was his protection. His father's house, that was his inheritance, his social standing. So basically, he's being told to ditch every human safety net he has and just trust this promise completely. And get this, this isn't some young guy looking for an adventure. The text is super clear. Abram was 75 years old when this all went down. 75. You know, an age when most people are thinking about kicking back and relaxing, not starting the biggest, most uncertain journey of their life. So this is the moment of truth, right? He gets this massive, scary command and this unbelievable promise. And what does he do? The text just says, "So Abram departed." That's it. He just went. He obeyed. He packed up his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and everything they owned, and started the journey. And this timeline here shows us his first moves. He leaves Haran, heads into Canaan, and as he gets there, he stops in a couple of places, Sichem, then near Bethel, and he builds altars. Now, these aren't just like Abram was here signs. No, this is a big deal. They're acts of worship, of faith. In a land that already belongs to other people, building these altars was Abram's way of planting a flag, spiritually speaking, and saying, "I believe the promise."
But of course, it's not that easy. Almost as soon as he gets to this promised land, boom, disaster hits. A grievous famine, the text calls it. So right away, that newfound faith of his is put to a major, major test.
So think about that. The land he was just promised can't even feed him. He's faced with starvation. So he does the logical thing, right? The pragmatic thing. He heads south to Egypt, which was like the breadbasket of the ancient world. But this little detour for survival, it's about to introduce a whole new kind of danger, one that's going to test his character, not just his ability to survive.
And as they get closer to Egypt, you can almost feel that faith start to wobble. Fear takes over. He looks at his wife Sarai, who is described as being very beautiful, and he starts to panic. He thinks, some powerful Egyptian is going to see her, want her, and kill me to get her. So what does he do? He comes up with a plan based on a lie. He tells Sarai, "Just tell everyone you're my sister." It's a survival plan, for sure, but it shows that in this moment, he's trusting his own cleverness, not God's protection.
So let's see how this brilliant plan works out. Because, spoiler alert, it succeeds in a way that kicks off a crisis that Abram absolutely did not see coming. And yep, just as Abram feared, Sarai's beauty gets noticed. And not just by anyone, by Pharaoh's own officials. They tell Pharaoh about her, and just like that, she's taken from Abram and brought into the royal palace, into the harem. It's this horrible, cruel irony, isn't it? The very thing he was trying to stop from happening, losing his wife, is exactly what happens because of his lie. And this just shows you the massive, catastrophic gap between what Abram wanted and what actually happened. I mean, sure, he got what he wanted in one sense. He was treated well. He got sheep and oxen and servants. But the cost? It was devastating. Sarai, the woman who's supposed to be the mother of this great nation, is now in Pharaoh's house. And because of this whole mess, God sends these great plagues down on Pharaoh and his entire household. Abram's clever plan didn't bring a blessing, it brought a curse.
Okay, so these plagues are basically a giant, divine red flag that something is seriously wrong here. And Pharaoh, he's not dumb. He puts two and two together, realizes he's been lied to, and he calls Abram in for what has to be an incredibly direct and, frankly, humiliating showdown.
Just try to picture this scene. You've got the most powerful man in the world, Pharaoh, whose entire house is suffering because of these plagues. And he's the one who has to confront Abram, the supposed man of God, the guy with the big promise, and call him out on his lie. Pharaoh's question is so simple, but it's just crushing. What have you done to me? Why didn't you just tell me she was your wife?
The fallout is immediate. Abram doesn't even try to defend himself. I mean, what could he say? Pharaoh gives Sarai back and then tells his men to escort Abram, his wife, and all their stuff right out of the country. So, yeah, he gets to keep.
So what are we left with? It's this really complex picture, right? On one hand, you have a man of incredible faith who literally gives up everything for a promise. But on the other hand, at the very first sign of trouble, he gives into fear, he lies, and he causes a huge international incident. It leaves you with a really big question, doesn't it? How do you square this massive, perfect, divine promise with the very flawed, very human person who was chosen to carry it out?